obviously in a previous episode I shared that I had to make that step down to the championship because I had fallen out of love with the game. And for me, it was always a one-season spell in the championship to get back up to the WSL.
Mm.
So that's, I think, where the whole I've just done my job, duty completed, we're back to the WSL came from.
Hey everyone, welcome to our podcast, The Bold Tackle. We are your hosts, Sophie Howard and Oliver Howard, and we are ready to tackle bold topics in sport,
highlight the women's football industry,
and speak about the unspoken.
If you are ready to get an insight into what really goes on behind the scenes, join us on our journey and listen in
to The Bold Tackle. Hi and welcome back to a new episode of our podcast, The Bold Tackle. And hi, Soph, lovely to have you. And it's very obvious where you are today.
I mean, yeah, to you it's very obvious. We're back on camp, back in Scotland.
For everyone who can see, it's very obvious. For everyone else, Sophie's wearing a Scotland jumper, Scotland hoodie, so it's pretty obvious.
Well, I did ask Ollie if I should change, but he did say it was very professional for me to be in my Scotland kit still.
I didn't say it was very professional. I said, do whatever you feel like.
No, you did not. No, you did not. Also, guys, I'm very, very nervous because Ollie said he's got this episode planned, but he's not telling me what's happening.
And I can tell you why. When Sophie is at camp, normally there's not a lot of time to do long podcast sessions. So I thought about a quick way where we can get a little update from Soph and get a lot of information in as short as time as possible. So what I've thought about doing today is I've got 11 questions that I would just like to do quick fire. And Sophie has about a minute and a half to answer each. And we'll see where the whole episode goes. But it's planned to have around 15 minutes to get a quick fire session from Sophie, everything related to football. So are you ready for this, Sophie? How sweaty are your hands?
I've never been more ready.
Let's start with one question maybe before you even started being a professional playing football full time. What was your favourite club? Do you have one today? Who did you support? And is there a dream team you'd like to play for?
Wow, that's many questions in one. Who do I currently support apart from Leicester City is Liverpool. I had no choice growing up. I know you're very happy about this. When I was about 7, I would say, I didn't support United, but I supported Cristiano Ronaldo. And therefore, I supported the club he played for. And I got so much stick that in the end, as a young girl, I gave in. And since that day, I've been supporting Liverpool.
So that's the way to do it. Guys, boys, if you have a sister, just keep on her and she'll support your team as well. You took away my next question. If you had a favourite player, do you have one today?
I don't have one single player. I like watching a fair few. Back in the day, it was Steven Gerrard by a mile. I really enjoy watching Virgil van Dijk. That's probably someone I'd watch these days.
Is there a woman you look up to you would like to play like? Or does a woman have a skill you'd like to have?
There's a fair few players that are very skillful, and I look to see how they play and maybe adjust my game. When I was growing up, the football player I looked up to that was female was Steffi Jones in Germany. That's simply because that's where we grew up. And she was one of the public figures probably promoting and growing the game.
There was only a few players you could really look up to at that time, wasn't there? There was not many.
Yeah.
Birgit Prinz was maybe one for the strikers, but there was not many players you looked at and thought, that's how I would like to play like.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think Birgit Prinz is an interesting one. Obviously, I'd hope that most listeners know her. A world-class striker back in the day. She actually joined Hoffenheim when I was still at Hoffenheim and was a player / coach / psychologist that we worked with. So that barrier towards the famous big print has probably been lifted a little bit since working with her. And Sophie Jones was one of the first to bring out a biography, a book that I also read. So as you mentioned, there weren't too many in the public's eye, I guess.
Is there a player you would like to play with or a coach you'd like to play for?
A player that I'd love to play with again is Kim Little. I got the privilege to play with Kim for the national team. But as many people know, she retired internationally a couple of years ago. We were going to try and ask her to come back if we'd qualified for a major tournament fairly recently.
Managed so far.
Obviously, that didn't happen, but we had internal conversations about asking her to come back. Whether that would have happened, it's written in the stars, basically, because we'll never know. But that's probably a player I'd love to play with again. In terms of coach, I can't give you a single coach that I would love to play for because I don't know these coaches enough.
Ask me.
Ollie, is there a coach?
Klopp or
Question
Guardiola?
back at you.
Klopp or
I knew
Guardiola?
you were
It
gonna
has
say
to
Klopp.
be the two. It has to be the two. One on the motivational side, and the other one, his tactics are just insane.
Yeah, I think it'll be very tricky for me to ever play for a Klopp or Guardiola unless we can convert them to the women's game, but I don't think that's going to happen. However,
Never
we did say in our
stop dreaming.
episode, yeah, we're full of good quotes today, you are. You've had too much time today. But remember in our Klopp episode, we did say after his little break and after he has had a few holidays with his wife, we would ask him to come to Leicester City, maybe the women's game, but we'll see if that happens.
We'll see. What's your dream five-a-side teams?
Oh, obviously I'd have to be in this five-a-side team, right?
Not if you see someone else in your position.
Oh, this is so tricky. I'll kind of work backwards. I'd probably put in Bonmati. I would five-a-siders, small spaces. I would put myself in. I would put I'm just thinking who I'd put in goal, to be honest. Do you know what? I'd actually put my mate in who plays for Leverkusen, Rika. I'm not apt anymore. She got married. But Rika I'd put in goal. You will not get past Rika. So I'd put her in goal. Who would I'd add Caroline Weir, hands down. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. We need one more. Probably could do with a holding mid or striker, to be fair. I'm really sorry I'm dragging out this answer. But yeah, my last player is Kim Little. So I'd have a fantastic five-a-side team.
And we all know we need to wear football boots to play football. And I've seen that you switch between Adidas and Nike. Which are your favourite ones?
Past tense. I currently only wear Nike Chempos, and that is simply due to me not getting any blisters when I play with them. I've got fairly wide feet, and they just fit perfectly. Since I made that switch, I haven't gone back.
Do you have any superstition or ritual you do before a game? When you walk on the pitch? When you're in the changing rooms? Anything?
I don't have any superstitions because I just believe they add massive pressure. People that, for example, play with their lucky socks. What if this pair of socks breaks or gets lost? What are you going to do then?
Fix them.
So, fix them. I don't have that. To be fair, I had that conversation with some of my teammates, and they were like, we're talking about sports bras you wear for particular games or for the games. And I was like, no, you can pick whatever, I'll wear whatever, in a sense of I don't have to wear the same exact one for the game. Also, because I said, what if you lose wearing that sports bra? Next time you're not going to wear it, you're going to chuck it in the bin. It doesn't make any sense. But anyways, I have a routine going into a game. And the one thing I do when I walk out onto the pitch is a little nod which sounds bizarre, but it's just I'm ready for
Why?
the game. I'm ready for the battle. This is just me saying I'm here. I'm ready for the battle.
Nice. Does it
Yeah,
get
that's
you a
just
bit hyped, motivated, a little bit more?
probably not visibly, but internally, absolutely.
So you walk on a pitch, you make your little nod, and what's the
Oh.
best stadium you've played in then?
Oof. I've got the privilege of playing in one of the best stadiums at the King Power every week or every home game. I think the one best stadium I've played in has to be the one in Paris when you actually came to watch the World Cup 2019 when we played Argentina. That was probably the most impressive one.
And hopefully we'll add one to the list in a couple of weeks' time.
Well, that would be a dream come true, step for step. But hopefully we can make that happen.
And both these stadiums obviously are memories. What is your worst and what is your best memory as a professional?
The worst memory / experience was us getting kicked out of the World Cup 2019
And the best stadium
against
you've played in?
Argentina. And the best tournament I've played in, the best stadium I've played in, one of the best feelings I've had was at the same tournament, the opening game against England when I had all of you guys in the crowd. A big rivalry, as everyone knows. First World Cup we qualified, first and only World Cup we qualified for the women's national team. So you can see how the highest highs and the lowest lows are very close to one another.
Where does a moment rank where you were promoted?
Oh, do you know the sad thing about the whole year of getting promoted? That for me, I saw it as box ticked. We'd done our job more than we'd achieved something big. And that is something that I probably have to work on in terms of enjoying the ride, enjoying the moment, enjoying those wins. Because for me, it was, for the whole season, that was the only outcome possible, in a sense of this is what we set out for. There's no other outcome. Once we achieved that, it was box ticked, off to next season WSL.
That's very sad because it's going to be a moment you always like to look back at. But it's interesting how your mind and your body just performs when it has to, when you set out this goal and there can only be one outcome.
Yeah, I think it's all related to, obviously in a previous episode I shared that I had to make that step down to the championship because I had fallen out of love with the game. And for me, it was always a one season spell in the championship to get back up to the WSL. So that's, I think, where the whole I've just done my job, duty completed, we're back to the WSL came from, more than enjoying the whole season of promotion. Of course, on the day of promotion, we celebrated, and I was very happy in that moment. But I think overall, I saw it as a box ticked.
So 2 quick fire questions before we've got one big last question. High win or clean sheet?
Clean sheet.
And early kickoff or floodlight atmosphere?
Floodlights. Hands
Why?
down. There's a completely different feeling.
I thought you're an early bird player.
I am. I'm an early riser. I get up early, even if I in evening kickoff. I'm up early. And that is the longest day. I am so productive on a game day if we have an evening kickoff. But there's no better feeling than a kickoff under the floodlights.
How long does it take you to go to bed afterwards if you're pumped with adrenaline?
Oh, I'm up for ages. I think my top has been 4 a.m.
Really?
But I was actually... Yeah.
What was that match?
It was actually the send-off game to the World Cup against Jamaica, where, to give a quick summary, I came on at half-time and I had made a mistake to concede a goal for Jamaica to equalise. And I think 10 minutes until the end of game, I scored my very first Scotland goal and managed to turn the game around in a sense, and we beat them 3-2. So you can imagine the adrenaline after that game. It was a record crowd for us at that point. There was just so much going on. that I never got to sleep until 4 a.m. that day.
And also the imagination of what can happen at this World Cup.
Oh yeah, that was a big moment of realization. We were actually going to the World Cup.
Okay, the last and final question. I think this answer might be a little bit longer, but we'll round it off with this question. Have you achieved all your goals, or is there something you have to achieve to be satisfied with your career?
It's a yes and no. I have achieved many goals. I am very happy with my career. There is still a few things that I'm set out to go and achieve. Major silverware with Leicester is a big one. And another major tournament with Scotland are the two big ones. But I almost would feel my career is complete in a way. That doesn't mean, however, if that doesn't happen, that I will forever be devastated and not happy with what I've achieved during my footballing career.
But it's nice to still have goals before your career ends. But it's nice to also know you're satisfied with how everything has come so far.
Absolutely. And ironically, Ed, our younger brother, sent me a quote not long ago, and it was a reel on Instagram, and it was something about you have achieved all the things that you once thought would make you happy. In a sense of, when you grow up, you think about becoming a professional footballer. That was the biggest thing. And I'm chasing something else now.
Yeah.
And yes, I am happy. I am happy with my career. But there's so much more I want to go and achieve.
It's also like enjoy the moment.
Of course. And I think that's something I need to work on. And keep reminding myself of that I have a life and a career that I'm very, very grateful for.
Yeah. Great. Thank you very much for the quick fire session. I hope your palms are not as sweaty anymore. But it was great getting all these insights. Thank you, Soph.
To be fair, I relaxed after the first question because I did not know where this was going. But thanks, Ollie, for preparing this, to be fair. It was good to get a different episode, I guess. No overall topic, but just a little insight. And yeah, everyone, thanks for listening again. And also, there's not many things we asked for, but if you can hit the follow button, that would be much appreciated by Ollie and I. And Ollie, I'll see you next week.
See you next week and have a great week at camp.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.